Good evening. Welcome to Express Tribune's 6 p.m. bulletin. Iran's President Ebrahim Raisi has died in a helicopter crash amid foggy weather in the country's mountainous northwestern terrain. Search teams, including drones from Turkey, located the wreckage in East Azerbaijan province. President Raisi and Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian were on their way back after a visit to the remote region bordering Azerbaijan. Iran's Mehr news agency said all passengers of the helicopter carrying the Iranian president and foreign minister were martyred. IRNA said the crash killed 8 people in all, including 3 crew members. Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei has expressed his condolences following the death of President Ebrahim Raisi and Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian. He has appointed Vice President Mohammad Mukhbar to take over interim duties as president. Khamenei said Mukhbar will work with lawmakers and judges to prepare for a presidential election within 50 days. Meanwhile, Iran's cabinet has appointed Deputy Foreign Minister Ali Bagheri Kani as acting foreign minister. Following the helicopter crash involving the Iranian president, global leaders have expressed their condolences and offered support. Pakistan's President Asif Ali Zardari shared prayers on social media, while Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has declared a day of mourning in the country. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan expressed deep sadness over the accident, saying his government is in close contact with Iran and ready to provide support. China's President Xi Jinping raised Raisi's contributions to Iran's security and stability. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov offered condolences, calling Raisi a true friend of Russia. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed his deep sadness and shock. In the Middle East, Hamas praised Raisi's support for the Palestinian group, while Hezbollah in Lebanon mourned the death of its protector. Saudi Arabia expressed its support for Iran, saying it is ready to provide any assistance required. The European Union also expressed its condolences, with European Council President Charles Michel sending his thoughts to the families. The US State Department earlier said that it is closely monitoring developments, but the country has yet to comment publicly on Raisi's death.
After mobs attacked foreign students in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, the Pakistani government facilitated the repatriation of 140 students to Lahore via a special flight with plans for more evacuations. The violence was triggered by a viral video of a brawl between Kyrgyz and Egyptian students, sparking anti-foreigner sentiments. In response to the crisis, Pakistani Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi emphasized the priority of safely returning Pakistani students, while Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif committed to covering the costs of repatriation. Amidst escalating tensions, students were advised to remain indoors and were evacuated when essentials ran low. Pakistan's Minister of Power Awais Laghari has rejected reports of a likely change in the net metering policy as a pack of lies. He categorically said there is no plan to scrap net metering, as the PMLN government, which had introduced the policy back in 2017, is fully committed to continuing it. He said if there is any need to revise this policy, all stakeholders will be taken on board and the government's approval would be sought. He assured that the contracts signed with the companies would be fully honored. Laghari said there was a 100% increase in net metering last year, adding out of 4 million connections, 113,000 connections are based on the net metering.
Bearish momentum dominated the Pakistan Stock Exchange on Monday as shares declined by more than 400 points following a visit by the International Monetary Fund. Shortly after the opening bell, the benchmark KSE 100 index continued to trade sideways until 10:30. The KSE 100 then continued a downward trajectory, shredding 416.91 points, 0.55%, to stand at 74,925.43 from the previous 75,342.34 at 12 p.m. The dip in sentiment was attributed to various factors, including media speculation on electricity price hikes and taxation changes. Additionally, concerns about upcoming monetary policies, budget adjustments, and terms for the IMF program contributed. The geopolitical landscape following President Raisi's death will also be a factor influencing market sentiment.
Antimicrobial resistance has emerged as the third leading cause of death in Pakistan, according to health officials and experts. It claims around 300,000 lives annually in the country. Pakistan ranks as the third largest consumer of antibiotics globally, with antibiotics worth 126 billion rupees consumed in 2023 alone. Health authorities, including Professor Shehzad Ali Khan, Vice Chancellor of Health Services Academy in Islamabad, highlighted the widespread misuse of antibiotics as a significant factor contributing to AMR. They emphasized the critical need for the public to use antibiotics only under professional medical guidance to combat this growing public health crisis.
The Board of Secondary Education Karachi has postponed matriculation exams from May 21st to May 27th due to a heat wave alert issued for Sindh. The National Disaster Management Authority and Provincial Disaster Management Authority warned of a hot weather system hitting the province next week. The exams for classes 9th and 10th, Science and General Group, regular and private, have been postponed. However, exams scheduled for May 28th will take place as planned. The BSEK will announce new dates for the postponed papers later. This decision comes after the Sindh government postponed annual intermediate exams due to concerns over the predicted heat wave. The Pakistan Meteorological Department forecast a severe heat wave in major cities and plain areas of Punjab and Sindh from May 21st to May 27th.
India has begun voting in the fifth phase of its mammoth general elections on Monday, May 20th. Seats in the country's financial capital, Mumbai, and the opposition Congress Party's bastions are set to be sealed in the last few legs of the seven-phase vote. The world's largest election began on April 19th and will conclude on June 1st, with votes set to be counted on June 4th. Voters queued outside polling stations included industrialist Anil Ambani and actor Akshay Kumar, who came early morning to cast their ballots. Monday's phase has the least number of seats being contested, with 89.5 million voters set to choose representatives for 49 seats. Voters have cited development and unemployment as major issues for the country. After an initial poor performance, more people started casting their vote with an average turnout of 66.95% in 4 phases and 69% in the fourth one on May 13th.
The Israel assault on Gaza continues, with airstrikes and artillery shelling reported across the region. The besieged Al-Auda hospital in Gaza has run out of drinking water, according to Doctors Without Borders. Jordan's Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi is calling for an international probe into war crimes committed during Israel's war on Gaza. The attacks have killed 31 people in the Nuseirat refugee camp. The Al-Quds Brigades, the armed wing of the Islamic Jihad group, claims its fighters clashed with Israeli troops in the Jabalia refugee camp, leaving soldiers dead and wounded. Israel has been conducting an operation around the camp with reports of ongoing violence in the region.
Saudi Arabia's King Salman is undergoing treatment for a lung inflammation, as announced by state media. This marks his second set of health assessments within a month, to be conducted at the Al Salam Palace Clinic in Jeddah. The 88-year-old king, who has been on the throne since 2015, has faced several health issues previously, including a gallbladder surgery in 2020 and a colonoscopy in 2022. His son, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, manages day-to-day affairs of the kingdom. The de facto Saudi leader has postponed a scheduled meeting with Japanese Emperor Naruhito and Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, citing his father's health. The United Nations has sounded alarm over a surge in violence in Myanmar's Rakhine state. Clashes between the military and the Arakan army have displaced tens of thousands of civilians, mainly Rohingya. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, has urged both sides to stop fighting and protect civilians. I am deeply alarmed by reports of renewed violence and property destruction in Butidong township in Myanmar's North Rakhine state, resulting in the displacement of potentially tens of thousands of civilians, mainly Rohingya, Turk said in a statement on Sunday. The Arakan army is fighting for more autonomy for the state's ethnic Rakhine population. The militia has been accused of human rights abuses against the Rohingya minority. The UN is seeking to verify reports of serious violations and is appealing to neighboring Bangladesh to provide protection to those seeking safety.
Newly sworn-in Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te has asked China to stop its military and political threats. In his inauguration speech, he said peace is the only option and Beijing has to respect the choice of the Taiwanese people. Lai repeated a call for talks with China, which views Taiwan as its own territory and has never renounced the use of force to bring it under Beijing's control. Lai said people must be realistic about the threat and Taiwan must show its determination to defend itself. Beijing has been critical of Lai, labeling him a separatist and rejecting his offer of talks.
China has launched a Long March 2D carrier rocket, sending 4 satellites into preset orbit. The rocket lifted off at 11:06 a.m. Beijing time on Monday from the Taiyuan Satellite Launch Center in the northern province of Shanxi. The satellite constellation is coded Beijing 3C. This was the 523rd flight mission of the Long March rocket series.
Pakistan's only sports radio channel, Sports FM 94, is shutting down, just days before the ICC T20 World Cup. The decision was made by Director General Radio Pakistan Syed Ahmed Sheikh. The channel will cease operations on May 31st and will be replaced by a health channel, leaving sports fans in shock. Fans on social media are demanding a reversal of the decision, terming it a backward step for sports broadcasting in Pakistan. News.